Looking for the best metal spots? Well, I have a guide for you. Hello everybody, my name's KiahOnARK, and today we're going to be looking into some of the best places to farm metal when it comes to the island map on ARK Ascended. At number 1, we're going to start with the very best, which tends to be the Volcano, which is a really good spot to find metal when it comes to the base of the volcano and all the way at the top as well. Just to give you guys a little idea, when it comes to metal rocks in Acer, they have a very certain look about them. They're not like they used to be. They now have like these disco ball type bits sticking out of them, and this is where you're gonna get your metal from when it comes to this new version of the game. There's also still rocks that are a little bit better at giving lots of metal and ones that are not so much, but it's very hard to tell the difference. Currently, at the moment, the only way I've been able to tell is by just farming them in general and the output you get by farming them just completely like that. But this spot is really good for metal on the volcano. There's loads and loads of nodes on this side that span all the way down, as well as obsidian and other things like that, and it just keeps going and going and going, and you can farm a metric ton of metal in this area. As you can see, loads and loads of nodes on this pathway up. And of course, this location on the map is at the volcano, which is 4130, so I highly recommend looking here for some really good metal. Just a tidbit as well, you can go all around this volcano for lots of metal. It's not just this location right here. Next location is my absolute favorite for early game metal, and it is near the starter beaches, but it's this little mountain here, which usually has some really good nodes on the top and around the base, but it's my absolutely favorite one for early game because it's easy to get to and a good place for some early crystal as well. But you can guarantee some good metal spots around here. As you can see, lots and lots of metal nodes around the base, and if you go down a little bit more of the path, like if we go over here, you can see some metal over here, a little bit of metal there, you know, and so on, and around this bit of the base you should be able to find some metal as well. As you can see, one there, one there, but they're mostly up the top bit of this actual peak right here, as you'll be able to see. If you're interested in this spot for metal, it is right here on the map, so nice and south, so great for starter metal. 7946 is where you'll be looking at. Now this next location for metal is a lot more hidden, but again, it's really near the south end beach, so you can get metal in a safer location, and the worst thing you're probably going to find is carnos, really. But on top of this very hidden foresty mountain is a bunch of metal that you can go ahead and farm at the very tippity top. Great starter metal here as well. There's not loads and loads like you would get on a really big mountain top, but it's great just to start you out, really, if that's what you're looking for. And this location can be found at 8666. Coming up to our next rich metal spot, which isn't that far away from the one we were just at, but it's another one you can go to, which is near Green Obelisk, is this one, and there is a mountain which has some really spread out metal on it, but if you were to go to the top of it, you'd find even more nodes. So let's just have a quick look up here. If you go further up the mountain, you should find more bits here and there. There's one, there's another 3, 4, 5, and so on. Let's just go up a little higher. So you can see these whiter looking rocks, all metal, and there's some metal on top. And there'll also be some metal around the base a little bit as well, if you're curious on where to find some. If you want to find the spot though, this spot is at 6762, so you'll be able to find it just on the edge of the Redwoods, but close to Green Obelisk. This next spot is the easiest of all places to get metal, and it is Herbivore Island. Although I will say, if you're on a public server, a lot of the time this metal won't be here anymore because a lot of people do like to build on this hotspot. Pretty much on this island there is a bunch of metal around the top rim of this island, so you can go ahead and collect your very first easy starter metal if you want to come to Herbivore Island, where of course there's only herbivores, so you won't be in any trouble collecting this metal. There just might be a few brontos that might be annoying, and you could also get an Anki here if you like as well. But this top rim area is where you'll be getting your metal, and if you would like this location for metal, if you don't know where this location is located at 8990 on the map, the far bottom right. My next location for metal is this one, the mountain in the middle of the Redwoods forest. all around the base of this mountain and up the path and at the top of the mountain, you should be able to find some metal ore. So you can see right at the top, there's a few on the right and the left here. So if you want some metal in the redwoods, you could always go here and grab some. This should be a really good spot, honestly, for quite a bit of metal, because there should be quite a few ore nodes dotted around the place. Just be careful with the thylers coming into this location and they don't knock you off your RG or whatever else you're using to get to the metal here. And this location is found at 5847, smack bang in the middle of the redwoods. This next bit is another really big hotspot for metal, although you do have to be really careful because you can get giga spawns here. But it's a really good spot for crystal, metal, all sorts. Mainly crystal as well, because there's loads on top, but you get loads of metal around this ginormous mountain. You can go to the top, or there's actually quite a lot down the base of the mountain as well. I especially like to go on the east side of the mountain to have a look for metal when you go down on the lower down parts, which you can reach by a ground tame. If you go further down the mountain, you can also find metal down here. Not always the easiest to see with all these lovely graphics going on, not gonna lie, but you should be able to find some down here. Here we go, here's a couple nodes right there, and they're scattered pretty much all over the mountain top and face. But yeah, if the lower down you go, you get some more. There you can see a couple more nodes. Then you go even further down, you should be able to find some more scattered around, down and around here, like there and there and there. So lots and lots of metal you can get on this mountain. Very good if you were to use an RG with an Anki or a Quetzal and an Anki, and you'd be able to get loads and loads of metal via here. Just be careful of those Giga, which seem to spawn here quite frequently in the ARK Acer update. And this place is located near Volcano Island at 3288. Here's our next location for metal, and I'll be honest, these next few locations do have the chance to have Gigas on them, so just be extra careful. But around this mountain you can find lots and lots of metal. Now on Ace, this used to be a place where people would set up like a temporary industrial forge and stuff like that. So it is a really good place for metal. You can find it all sorts of places scattered around the mountain. In this version of the game, they are way more scattered and a bit harder to see because of their coloration. But if you continue following the mountain path up, you should be able to find quite a bit of metal on your way to the tippity top, hidden in the crevices, kind of like how usual metal would be. And you can see if you get up much higher, loads and loads of more metal hidden into the mountain. So this is a very rich place. You can get lots and lots of metal at. And this location is just next door from our prior one, so we'll have a look on the map here. This place is located at 3360. Next couple locations, we moved to the snow, and I'll be really honest with you guys, finding metal in the snow is no more that much easy because the rocks are covered in snow, much like this metal rock right here. It's really hard to see that it's metal. Usually though, it's got kind of a lumpy kind of texture, and you should be able to see if it's metal out the side of the metal rock. But I'll be honest, it's very, very difficult to see what is metal and what is not when it comes to this snowy texture. But this is a really good place if you can bear with that and turn off the floaty rocks as well. You'll be able to get quite a lot of metal on these mountains. It's this mountain and Blue Obelisk Mountain are both incredibly good spots to farm metal at. The snow is one of the best places for metal when it comes to the island's metal sources. It's just very hard to find now. If you could persevere with this though, this particular location right here we're looking at is right here on the map at 1753. Another place you can go for metal is around the snowy coast area in the top left of the map, all around the edges. In this particular location right here, you can find some metal rocks. Here's some right there, like really hard to see, but there's a bunch in this little area right here on the edge. You could also get yourself some organic polymer while you're here from the penguins, why not? But this location right here has quite a few metal rocks that I would like to show you, so If we look on the map right here, it's at 22.9 you can come to for some metal rocks, and generally around the coast of this area is really good for metal as well. If we come right under Blue Obelisk as well, this mountain right here is really good for metal, as well as this top spot is still good for metal. All three rocks here are metal, but again, really hard to see, but you should be able to find some metal rocks around here still as well. And down the mountain, usually how I kind of tell if they are metal is they have a much bubblier looking texture on them compared, or I look at the sides. So you should be able to find some, well, oil and metal rocks. So this is another metal rock right here, that one and that one, 3 metal rocks right there you can find. And if you go further down the hill, you should be able to find some more metal rocks as well. And as well as not just down here around the base of the mountain, so more metal here, more metal there. Just keep looking around here, you should be able to find quite a decent amount of metal, like, well, this is metal right here in front of me right now. So if you want to find this location, I'm sure you know where to find Blue Obelisk, but I'll give you a reference point. It is 2123 on the map for some really, really good metal. This next spot I want to give an honourable mention. If you go in here though, you want a shotgun and stuff like that. But having a look on the map, we are at 8554, and it is within the cave you're going to go and find this. Just got to load it in. Ooh. So if we go down deeper to the Hunter Cave, you're coming here for some maybe drops and stuff like that. You can also make use of the metal down here. So if you go all the way down past the red mushroom, there is a right and a left intersection area that you'll eventually get down to. Now I just crossed it, so we came out of there, the right's down there, left's down here. We're going left because that's where some metal is at, and you can already see it right there. You do need to be careful with things like arthropleura, but if you can get into this bit of the cave, there's some metal down here as well as over that direction too. So if you want to get some metal in a bit of a spicy area, you can choose to go down the cave. And the final spot of this metal I'll quickly show you is 8854, but of course you'll want to go to the entrance, but I just want to show you that on a double check kind of thing. It's not the only cave that does metal as well. A lot of caves do metal, so you could also farm up those if you fancied a bit on your journey. But the most efficient ways to get it generally tend to be where you can park an RG or a big carrier. So getting metal down caves is not always the brightest thing to do, but it could be a way of getting some, as well as crystal. Really good for early crystal. You can get these nodes on the wall, but of course this is a metal guide, so you know it's about metal. But there you go, there's a little tip right there. Either way, that is some island metal spots. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel for many more guides and awesome things to come. Thank you for watching, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.